Welcome back into Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery here on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Remember, head over to youtube.com, find Locked On Sports Atlanta in your search browser. When you get to that page, hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment there. Of course, free and available on all your favorite podcast platforms, including Spotify and Odyssey. Leave us a 5-star review. Give me a follow on my personal Twitter page. That would be at JMCH316. Pro Football Focus came out with a list the other day, yesterday, I believe, of the top 25 tight ends in college football. Preseason ranking, top 25 college tight ends, okay? No real surprise that Brock Bowers came in at number 1 for the Georgia Bulldogs. Interesting, though, at number 3, Arik Gilbert comes in for the Georgia Bulldogs. And then at number 14, Darnell Washington comes in for the Georgia Bulldogs. So the Bulldogs right now have the 1, 3, and number 14 rated tight end in all of college football. Do they have the best position group in college football? I think there's a case to be made. I will tell you honestly, you might want to go look at that Ohio State wide receiver core if we're talking about best position groups. But the Bulldog tight ends are right there. And how crazy is it to think that when we talk about what is the absolute unquestioned strength position-wise for the Bulldogs, that we would say the words tight end. Now, my good friend Randy McMichael is smiling down from heaven, even though he's not dead or anything like that, but he's smiling about the idea of the Bulldogs might have the entire best position group in all of college football, and it's not defensive end, it's not outside linebacker, it's not middle linebacker where we think about, it's not running back when they had Chubb and Michelle and guys like that in their backfield, right? It's none of those, it's not wide receiver. It's none of that stuff. Corner, safe, nothing. It's tight end. And isn't it crazy to think about the shift in the idea of what Georgia is becoming with their offensive weapons, how much better they've recruited at tight end, wide receiver, things like that. Now, look, they're still getting their 5-star quarterbacks in all of this as well. So I don't want to take that away from it. And yes, I understand they didn't get Arch Manning. They didn't get that white whale out there, but they have still brought in 5-star quarterbacks. And look, we've talked about before, Nick Saban had to go through his transitional phase to get past some of the old ways of thinking about college football, right? You know, the first step he took was defensively. He got away from the Mount Codys and people like that, the Marcel Darius, you know, the big bulking defensive linemen, and the Mark Barons of the world that came down and thumped the daylights out of you at safety. And he decided to go with more guys, speed, sideline to sideline, quick linebackers, the Eddie Jacksons in the backfield, right? Complete transformation about how they built their defensive personnel. And then once Lane Kiffin got there, and this is kind of, acknowledged as kind of that tipping point, when Lane Kiffin got there, that's when it became, let's play offensive football. And look what Alabama has done, right? They've had the Heisman Trophy quarterback. I mean, think about it. They went through a stretch where you could say, well, Tua was the best quarterback ever. Then it was, well, maybe Mac Jones is the best quarterback ever. Now it's, well, maybe Bryce Young is the best quarterback ever, right? They've gone through that phase. Oh, yeah, don't forget about the fact that they had 4 first-round NFL wide receivers that were all on one roster just a few years ago, right? Plus all the other, the Najee Harrises, and it goes on and on and on and on, right? Complete different change in offensive philosophy. That's where the Bulldogs have to get to. And this is an important first step. Now, the key is going to be, and I don't think that this is going to be as big of a problem for the Bulldogs, is getting the football to them, right? It's great to have the best tight end room in America, but you got to get the football into them. Now, we'll talk some more about this coming up here in just a second, but I want to talk to you about one of our new sponsors here today. Look, we know a lot of inflation running wild, right? We didn't get a very good report yesterday about inflation, over 9%. We know time's a little bit tougher, harder to pay rent, harder to put gas in the car when you need it. Are you finding yourself a little bit short on cash at times? We've got something that can help. It's called Dave. It's the banking app that can help you get $500 instantly with extra cash, right? So we all know at times we get ourselves into a pinch. We need some extra cash. We need some extra money. We got to get through the week, right, until we get paid, this, that, and the other, right? And you don't want to go to a title loan or something like that, and you got huge interest rates and things like that. You can tackle some of those expenses by using the Dave app and take that stress and worry out of everything. There's no interest. There's no credit check that you need. We've got millions of people that have already downloaded this Dave app to get the financial relief that they need with this extra cash. So if you're in a pinch, you need a little bit of extra cash, you need a little bit of extra help, download Dave, and you can think of it as a helping hand out there. So here's what we want you to do. Download the Dave app from one of your app stores right now. Go to whatever app store that you use, download the Dave, D-A-V-E, Dave app, and I want you to sign up for the extra cash account and get $500 instantly. You can get up to $500 instantly when you download Dave, D-A-V-E app, sign up for the extra cash account. Terms and conditions, if you want to read all through that, you go to dave.com/legal. That'll give you all the information that you need. But instant transfer fees apply. Banking provided by Evolve, member FDIC. The future of trying to pay your bills will definitely thank you for all this. Check out that Dave app today and sign up to try to get your $500 instantly. So, look, I've talked before about Stetson Bennett and the idea of, does he need to be better if the Bulldogs are going to be better and things like that. I don't know that he needs to be that much better because the Bulldogs have so many weapons offensively. And again, we talk about this tight end room. Think about the fact that over the next couple of years that they may have 3 guys that are all playing on Sunday. Now, it's not like the Bulldogs haven't had great tight ends before. We just mentioned about my guy, Randy McMichael, Ben Watson, Leonard Pope, guys like that who are really productive in college. But the idea of having all of these guys here at one time, Bowers is the best pass catcher that the Bulldogs have. He is their best weapon in the passing game is Bowers. He's a special elite talent. He's going to be a first-round pick. He's going to be a guy that's going to be looked at as all-world. Where he projects and things like that as far as how high in the draft, we still got way too much time to have to worry about that kind of stuff. But Gilbert is another guy who is a special elite talent. Remember, he came out as the highest-rated tight end prospect in 247 history, right? He was the big can't miss, can't fail guy. Got to LSU. There were things going on, this, that, and the other. Got out of there, and a lot of people thought he was going to head to Florida and play in Gainesville for the Gators. That didn't happen, and he comes to the Bulldogs. And now, hopefully, after what's been certainly an underwhelming collegiate career, he's going to get himself and his life and everything else back on track and focused in on trying to be a great football player because he's got all the ability in the world. He could be, you talk about guys who could be breakout stars in the world of collegiate football. If Gilbert is right and he can be a part of this offense, Gilbert has all the ability in the world to be one of the breakout talents. Now, again, there's a lot of ifs that come along with that, but Gilbert is not short on talent when it comes to being an elite pass catcher. So you add in Darnell Washington in that mix, who I don't want to say is the forgotten guy, but still one of the top tier talents in the world of college football. Georgia's tight end room is loaded for bear. And there's no reason to think that Bennett, Monken, the way that their offensive philosophy is set up and this, that, and the other. Look, the Bulldogs are still going to be a run-first type of team, right? As long as Kirby Smart has some, say in the idea of what's going to be called, they are going to have a more run-first type of philosophy. That's not necessarily a bad thing. And I'm not saying that they're going to get in the I formation and they're going to be all run, no pass. But they want to build off of their identity of being a run team, right? Even Clemson and things like that for their great quarterbacks, they've been a more run-first team because the Wayne Gallmans and the Travis Etiennes and things like that of the world, they have set their identity up as we're going to build everything off of our running game. There's nothing wrong with that by doing that in college football with the Georgia Bulldogs, but they have all of those weapons on the outside, and certainly they have those weapons at tight end. So it's crazy to think about where we're at with Georgia football, that when we talk about, hey, Georgia has the best position group in college football, you would immediately think linebacker, defensive line, corner, right? Maybe offensive line. You wouldn't think tight end. I would tell you could probably roll through every position group thought in the country and not realize how good Georgia's tight ends are, but that's where they stand right now. That's a real strength of their team. And it's going to be fun to watch Monken, their offense coordinator, how he's going to get the football, the plays that he's going to call up. They've done a great job with Bowers. Bowers has really broken out. And that was kind of maybe a happy accident in a lot of ways, right? because Bowers wasn't projected to be as dominant of a player as what he was, but because of injury and things like that to their wide receiver positions, right? They had so many injuries at the outside wide receiver position that Bowers was forced to have to be one of those kinds of guys. And now here they are. They've built themselves arguably maybe the best positional group in all of college football. It's why I think that the Bulldogs offense is going to be fine. You're not going to have worries about it, and why Georgia should be one of the big reasons why Georgia will be right back in the college football playoff mix. All right, when we come back, a name for you for the Falcons. I'm going to give it to you. Why not is what I have to say. It's up next on Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery on Locked On Sports Atlanta.